in the arms of spirit. He's waited so long for your homecoming day. He knows the peace you need and the hurt you're feeling. He wants to hold you and to wipe your tears away. Well, the door's unlocked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. There's room enough in the home of love for someone just like you. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved and you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Welcome home, come in, welcome in. Welcome home, come in, welcome in. Welcome home, come in, welcome in. Come in, welcome in.
Good morning. Welcome in. What a great, I just love that song. It is such a lovely song. So welcome to Unity of Traverse City. My name is Yvette Babin Ringsmith, and I'm so pleased to be here. I don't know if you guys, like me this morning, felt like you were ushered in on the rays of sunshine. It was so nice to see. That's just how much we miss the sunshine here. I'm so pleased to be here this morning with the energy and the smile of Reverend Judy Grimes. We're so happy to have you back. Always. So let's start our service with a prayer, as we like to do. Mother, Father, God, thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for this opportunity to gather in love, to gather as an organization, as this is an important day here at Unity, and all the work that goes into the meeting that we have this afternoon, and all the energy, of course, from all of our volunteers in every aspect of the service. We are grateful. Let's turn just for a moment to our daily word for today, titled, Let Go, Let God. I bravely release outworn behaviors and embrace my bright, brilliant future. Holding on to what no longer serves me because it is familiar and I've grown accustomed to it may stall my growth. I evolve much more quickly when I trust my guidance and release old patterns and behaviors. In my heart, I know that when I move away from a dysfunctional relationship, a negative attitude, or unhealthy way of living, I move towards something greater. Peace, safety, harmony, freedom, and fulfillment. I let go of anxiety or fear, and I open myself to happiness and security. I breathe in freedom. My heart becomes buoyant, and my steps lighter. I set my intention today to release anything I have been fearful of letting go so that I can confidently move forward, open to infinite good. And so it is. Amen. Let's speak our affirmation slide together. That was that moment where you have to sit down and then it reminds you of what you needed to do. So let's speak together our affirmation. Together, Spirit leads me, guides me, and walks beside me. Thank you.
If you'd like to stand, we'll sing God, God You Are. This is a fairly new one, not going to talk about it.
Steve's here.
All right. So we've got just a few announcements for you this morning. First of all, we're excited to announce our March lineup of guest speakers, which includes one new speaker as well as 2 Unity regulars. Ordained Buddhist monk Jill Donberg will be with us March 5th. Our own Blake Ringsmith will be a speaker on March 12th.
Good morning.
Former UTC minister Judy Grimes will be with us on March 19th. And our own Bob White will be sharing his thoughts with us on March 26th.
At the back of the church.
Aren't we fortunate to have such a lineup and so many of them right here in our congregation? A Course in Miracles, the next meeting for that is going to be this Wednesday, March 1st, at 6 p.m. in the Fellowship Hall. All are welcome to join. And we have a new study group. Paul Carbonell did a fabulous job with the last one by all accounts. We thank him for all of his work on that one. The next one is starts March 12th and goes 4 Sundays. It's based on this book, I Never Thought of It That Way, by author Monica Guzman. And Monica is an immigrant from Mexico. She came up with her parents illegally back many, many, many years ago. Her parents are Trump supporters, and I only say that because she is not. And on the face of it, the description, you would not think that, and it has made her look at how do I make peace out of this polarized world. And so that's where she was coming from. She's a well-educated, very, very fascinating person. And we have really great extra materials in addition to this book. So the book is about the depolarization of America and the steps that you can take. So I don't know if any of you know anyone that thinks differently about things in the world. Maybe in your family, maybe in your community, maybe people at the state level or the federal level, and you're frustrated. This is just a fabulous tool to think about how to address that issue and those conversations. Really, really great. So I invite you, March 12th, 4 Sundays, hour and 15 minutes after church. I assure you, you will find it very interesting and helpful.
Who's teaching
it? Me. Was it the tears? I don't know. Board candidates. Prospective board candidates are Libby Robold, who will be continuing her current term, as well as Marianne Cataglia and Molly DeBell. And they would be both starting new terms. The election will be held at the annual membership meeting today. And the next slide is the annual meeting. The annual meeting is today. As well as electing new board members, the meeting will also be a time to share the financial report for 2022 and to present the budget for 2023. Everyone's invited and encouraged to attend. Only members are allowed to vote. Everyone's invited to join us for the annual soup and bread luncheon following the service today. And outside the sanctuary after the service, there'll be a table set up. That's where you will be checking in for the meeting, because of course we need to have a quorum. So do your best to be here, to check in at the desk there so that we can make sure that we get the number of folks here that we need to have here. If you have any questions about that, you can ask Bob about them probably after the service, but we welcome you to the annual meeting after the service today. And I want to go back to the candidates. Let's just a little quick round of applause for those people that put their names up. Thank you, Marianne, Molly, and Libby, very much. Script card fundraiser. Please note that starting next month, script cards will only be ordered once per month, the first Sunday of the month, rather than twice monthly as was done in the past. However, you can sign up for what orders you want anytime during the month. It's just that they will only be ordered once a month. So anytime you can go back there on those sheets that are in the hallway and fill out and put in the little box what it is that you would like to have ordered. And lastly, we have a board minute. We want to invite one of our board of trustees to share the latest news from the board, and that will be Brooke.
Do I have to use this? Hello?
There you go.
All right. Hi, I'm Brooke Gray, for those of you that don't know, and I'm on the board of directors, the treasurer actually. And we had a board meeting last week, our last one together as the board is right now. Starting after the meeting today, we'll have our first board meeting with our new board members. And we spent quite a bit of time at the last meeting preparing for the annual meeting. You know, looking at the script and looking at, what needs to be done. And I would like to say that Bob has just been fantastic in pulling all this together, and I just think we should all give him a hand for all the hard work that he's done to put into all this. Yeah. Yep. And then some of you have seen the membership survey that we sent out, and we hope that, if you're not on our email list, be sure that you get on it. The survey is another attempt on the board's part to get everybody's input and feedback, what they like, what they don't like, what they'd like to add, what they'd like to keep. I mean, it's just an opportunity to be able to communicate with us, and we want everybody to be involved in this. And then following the surveys, when everybody's surveys are in, we're going to plan soon a meeting where we can get together and discuss it, what the results of the survey was, and things that we can add or subtract or whatever. We're doing the best that we can with what we've got. I feel really great about it, but we want to be responsive to what our church community wants, and so we wanted to create this other opportunity. And don't be afraid to tell the truth. I mean, that's what's going to change things. So please be honest about it and your responses, and we'd really appreciate that. The other thing that I'm going to say, and we talked about this at the last meeting, we need to all work at manifesting our new minister. And we have not, made that part of our service, and we want to start making it part of our service every single time to be able to think about that person is going to be in the right place at the right time, and, it's going to be God's time, not ours, but we have to manifest that positive, affirmative idea. So please keep that in your prayers, that the right minister is going to be coming along here when it's time. And in the meantime, we're going to do the best we can to keep this as vibrant and active and everybody involved as we can. So thank you so much for being here. Please stay after for the buffet. It's really going to be nice. It's lots of good food back there. And stay for the meeting as well. We'll make it fun this year. I promise.
All right, I think we have a
You can
congregational
remain
song.
seated for the song. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything.
Where did you put the handheld?
Inside
There on
and
the second
all
shelf.
around me, God in everything. I can feel it in my beating heart. God in everything. It's in every breath of life I take. God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. It's in every stranger's face I see God in everything. Brothers, sisters, family are we, God in everything.
Did you say anything about Steve?
Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. Mountain, valley, lake, and
I'm going to say
stream,
something.
God in
I
everything.
have a point.
All creation beautiful and free, God in everything. God in everything. God in everything.
Hello, good morning. My name is Blake Ringsmith, and I'll be leading the meditation, but before we start there, I think some acknowledgement is necessary. One of our congregants, Steve Orr, has returned to the church. Arise. Oh.
While I'm standing, I'd just like to say, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all your warm cards, happy thoughts. 14 weeks in the hospital is not my idea of fun, so you guys made it a whole lot more fun.
Thank you. And yes, this is the time for meditation, but we're going to do it just a little bit different today because that's the way Spirit moved me. If you're able to, could you please stand for a moment? And I invite you to become centered and feel your 2 feet planted on the earth. And feel that connection between Mother Earth and you. And I invite you to take a strong stance. And when you feel that strong stance, you may be seated. But I ask you to remember that feeling as your feet remain on the earth. And I invite you to take some deep, slow breaths, affirming that connection to the earth through your feet, through your soul, your heart, your mind. That one linear connection all the way through you, through the crown of your head, that connection to the universe. Breathing deeply, release any other concerns and affirm and strengthen that connection and that powerful posture that you took just moments ago. For you are powerful. Your divine calling and your divine spirit is powerful. We are all called to stand in that powerful stance, literally, figuratively, to stand for our spiritual beliefs, to be a beacon of those beliefs, those aspirations. For you are strong in the Christ presence. You are a model of that divine spirit. You are strong. You are brave. And you walk your path as a spiritual warrior, a peaceful spiritual warrior standing in your truth, whatever that looks like for you. And I ask you to affirm and summon that, strengthen it, and feel that connection. And let it carry you forward. Affirm that in the silence. And as we return to this place, we know there will be an hour of darkness when we must remind ourselves of that strength. And we know this is just life. But surely as the sun shines today, there is light. You are that light. You are that beacon. And as we affirm together, Spirit leads me, Spirit guides me, and Spirit walks beside me. And for this reminder, and for this opportunity, and this responsibility, we are so very grateful. And together we all say, Amen.
Lead me to the light. Lead me to the light. Help me to make it through. Lead me into the light. Make my eyes to see all that I could be. Help me to see it through. Lead me into the light. Turn my night to day. Take the hurt away. Help me to be with you. Lead me into the light.
Short ladies here. Carol, thank you, thank you, thank you. Each of you, thank you. I wipe the tears. Just being with you is such a joy. You know that. For truly, you are the light. If I could have my greatest wish in the world, it would be that every person in the universe could feel the spirit that's here. Isn't there one already here? No, I guess I have to use this all the time, don't I? Okay. Well, I think the radiance that's coming from my heart and the love that's here probably speaks louder than any words I could possibly share. every song that we've sung, every word that we've prayed this morning, every smile that I've seen, every greeting, Steve, to see you here today means so much. That lifts us. And it takes me back to that original day when I came. I was telling Kay, I think, this morning. Wasn't I telling you, wherever you are? I was telling her, yes, I was telling you about that day when I tried out here back in January. Some ugly, well, no, it was a gorgeous day like this, but lots of snow. You come from Maui, and here you are. And I had said, honey, I'll be who I am. When I left Ken there, and I said, if they like me, great. If they don't, you'll welcome me back to Maui, and I'll be very happy too. And so I came here, and I said, I'm going to be me. And no matter what happens, I'll be me. And as I said, off the wall. If that's what Spirit says, I'll be off the wall. But it'll be right. And those of you who were here, and those who aren't here now, some who have passed on, some who aren't here now, some who are in Florida or Arizona or wherever else they think they're in the right place. You welcomed me in such a wonderful way. So here I am today, and I'm going to invite you into that which is most exciting in my life now, which then would be outpictured in be able to have better constructive conversations, not only with those in our life who are disturbed us. We've got one. He's in Louisville. We just came back. You know what? We didn't go see him, that son. We were down there only for 3 days for a really quick trip. We decided not to. Why should we go to that space? But maybe we should have. Maybe we should have too. In any case, we couldn't wait to get home. And we are here with you. And we're here with you because we have a mission in the world, and the mission is to take the truth that's living us right now. How this happened for me, and I'm going to extend an invitation to you to join me in this, was that there's a Unity minister who has inspired me from the day he walked on the scene, I think, and that's Jim Rosemergy. How many of you read his books or know Jim? You've heard him, yeah. Jim is the one who, if he says, I'm going to teach a class, I say, sign me up. And we Zoomed every Saturday during the month of January. The class was on global awakening, which you can interpret to mean consciousness raising. Global awakening. Jim, like the majority of us, has been somewhat distraught over the last 3-4 years and more, and wanting to know, how do I make my way through this? What can I do? Where do I belong? What is my place now? What's the gifts I've been given that I should be sharing? And how should I do that, God? And Jim, is a prayer master. He lives in prayer. He writes constantly. And his most recent book, which I really love the title, is Confessions of a Christian Heretic. Well, I bet there isn't one of us here at times who hasn't thought, I'm a heretic, if there ever was a heretic on this spiritual journey. When we veered off from the family, and they're all over here and we're over there. When my mom called former minister and said, his name is John Schaefer. John, he'd left the church by this time, and he was a therapist. She said, John, I'm so concerned. The kids are going to that place called Unity out in Honolulu, and I think they're in a cult, and then on and on with the cult conversation. And he finally said, calm down, Marge. They're in good hands. They're in God's hands. They're in the right place. They're where they belong. Because for us, it was that place that said, we're home, just like we sang in our welcome. We're home. And yes, we cried through the peace song and all of that at Unity of Honolulu. Yeah, and it wasn't hard to go back, that's for sure. So in this class, we looked at how we can move forward in our lives and establish the consciousness of peace that allows us to be present to life as it happens. The ups and the downs. We sang a song that had to do with our hearts beating a little while ago. Carol would probably give me the words. Maybe you know them, Kevin. Anyway, we sang something about our heart and every breath we take. And I thought, I have to share with you that after a year almost of having my heart going all over the world. And some days I wouldn't be able to do much. And some days I was off the wall. But then I would go into times when it wasn't even beating. That's when I was here last time, and I was in dizzy a lot of the time, which was pretty scary. But finally, my beloved cardiologist found the right medication and is going like people's hearts are supposed to go. What a difference. You know, I have a future. That's what I told him. He said, well, how do you feel? A couple of Thursdays ago. And I said, you know, for the first time in a long time, I feel I have a future. I feel like I'm going into the prime of my life because I can do this now. So, raising consciousness, and I'm going to just give the revealing word definition of consciousness, just in case some of us may have forgotten that. This is Unity before 101. I mean, this is what we learned at the beginning. But what is consciousness? Well, consciousness, and I quote, the sum total of all ideas accumulated in and affecting our present being. It includes all we're aware of, spirit, soul, and body. So consciousness is, I suppose it's how we live the truth in our life is my best way to say it. Sum total. It's all of it, all that we are that's made us who we are today. The nature, the nurture, however you want to look at it, it's made us who we are today. And out of that comes our purpose in being. Some of us know our purpose. Some of us aren't sure. Our purpose changes. My purpose for many, many years has been to know and express more of God each and every day of my life. And when I had my time in the hospital, which was nowhere near what Steve has experienced, but quite a bit during December and January, when I was there, sometimes it was hard to remember that, but to know and express more of God each and every day of my life. But a little quote that I find just wonderful, it says, well, just relax, girl. Maybe your life purpose isn't supposed to be a thrill-seeking narrative. What if you're meant to be the sunshine to someone's stormy day, or the voice of clarity to a frantic mind? You don't have to be a superhero to save the world. Just be you. I added the just be you. Just be you in that moment. We know, first of all, there's nowhere we can be that is apart from God. So when we go into any setting, office setting, meeting setting, even when we're pumping gas in the car, we go to meet our good. We can step aside and let the Holy Spirit, the whole Spirit of God, lead the way. Pause at the door. Pause when you get behind the wheel. Pause when you get in line. Pause. Pause. Take a breath. Get your feet in position. Feel your strength. And then we step forward, and then we open our mouths. And in this way, we're able to shift from the reflexive reaction to life to compassionate, intentional response. Peace of mind and heart are ours to live now, not sometime in the future, but right now. Remember the blessing. The Lord lifts up his countenance upon you and gives you peace. The Lord lifts up his countenance upon me and gives me peace. It doesn't have to come from some holy person. It comes from you. The Lord lifts up his countenance upon you, and always there is peace. Nothing to fear. Step aside here. Look at the Old Testament. Go to Genesis. You remember Cain and Abel, the story, two brothers? One was a hunter, one was a fisherman, or one was a gatherer. So they were hunters and they were fishermen. Cain was extremely jealous of his brother Abel. And at some point that jealousy overtook him, and he killed his brother Abel. Well, then he was all worried. He thought, it's good. God's going to get me. Karma's going to get me if they had that word. You know, something's going to come and bite me for what I did. And then he received, whether it was in a dream, whether it was God's spoken word, he heard the mark of love is upon you. The Lord's mark is upon you. You are free. And there was a mark on him, like a birthmark is the way I'd see it. Maybe on his forehead. People will see that and no harm will befall you. Well, we have always said when we go out doing things in our teaching here, the mark of success is upon you. We'll say that today to our board, the new board, our new president of this church. We'll say the mark of success is upon you. And we'll know that, and they will feel that. So knowing God is with you, knowing God is absolute goodness, knowing God is life, knowing God is truth, knowing God is whatever we need in every moment, we move forward. And we remember David when he wrote the Psalm saying, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you, Lord. I put my trust in you. And that is the foundation upon which we stand. So maybe what I'm going to share with you is going to seem very pie in the sky. And if it is, I'm going to invite you to just live with it. Chew it is the way I say it. When Jim first shared these 4 commitment statements, and Molly, I want you to put them up now if you would, please. Are they there? 4 statements. And he said, begin every day. From the moment you wake up, say these 4 statements. They will become such a part of you that they will ground you, they will infill you, they seem, and you will know that you are doing exactly what you've been placed here to do. So the very first one is the answer is always spiritual. The answer. And I think about that now. I had to chew that one. I had to look at all the situations, that are up. How can I say that the answer is spiritual? Well, it is. First and foremost, it comes in the heart. It comes through inspiration. The answer is always spiritual. Some of you will write this down now. Molly, Carol, whoever puts together the email thing, that we get, would you please put this into it so everybody else joins us? Because the second one says, I am part of a peaceful uprising. And that is the truth too. Life isn't happening to us. We are an integral part of a peaceful uprising. That's why we need to stay connected. That's why we need a foundation that's really firm and in which we believe, in which we can be who we are. And then we acknowledge, it only takes a few of us. Not the whole universe. They don't all have to be here right now. It only takes a few of us. And finally, relax. I am one of the few. I am one of the few. Got it? So simple. Write it on. Put it on your nightstand. Have it when you're in bed. Maybe put it on the bathroom wall when you get there if you need to wait that long. And some days it takes a little longer for it to come to me. But I can't tell you how many times, dozens of times, I speak it during the day now. It's made a difference in our home. It's made a difference. During 3 weeks ago, we had to let our little Louie go, and thank you for your prayers. And boy, that was a hard one. And we know he hung with us longer because he knew Mommy and Daddy weren't ready for this. But finally we were. And so we saw him on his way, and we told him that we would always be with him, just like God's always with us. He still is there. He still is in the house. We still look for him. The other day I offered him, I took out a piece of cheese, and then I looked to see where he would have been, because he would have been there for his part on that cheese. And he wasn't there. But all those moments, he's there. God's there. God's where we are. So it's time for us to get busy and live it again. Say those simple statements every morning. Remember the words from Isaiah. Say, I move forward here. I'm moving forward from Genesis. Now we're in Isaiah with the prophet in the 58th chapter. And he's saying this. He's talking about his visions for what it will be like when the Messiah comes. And he said, your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your guide, your rear guard. And then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, here I am. And we'll say in response, and here I am, Lord. here I am. And we are one. And that's what the prayer becomes. So if you're doubting this, if you're doubting, can the whole world join us here? Do you remember the story of the 100th monkey? I know I told it many, many times. Some of you know that. You'll remember this. Okay, this happens in the South Pacific, the little islands out there. And what did the monkeys eat? Well, they ate sweet potatoes. That was the best thing they could forage for. They loved their sweet potatoes. What's wrong when you're eating on the beach? Sand in everything. Sand on the sweet potatoes, sand in their mouths, sand, gritty sand in your teeth. You know, sand in your bathing suit, if you've lived at the beach much. Sand everywhere. And they didn't like that. But they kept eating the sweet potatoes because that's the way they'd always done it. And then one day, one of the monkeys had his sweet potato roll into the drink, if you would, into a creek or something. And it got washed clean. And he put it in his mouth, and it wasn't gritty. And he loved it even more than before. So he got the picture, and he started doing that all the time. Every time he had a sweet potato, he'd wash it, and it would be wonderful. I'm sure the others looked at him and thought, well, I don't know what he's doing, but he sure has a better attitude than he did before. So they started washing their sweet potatoes. And one after another started washing their sweet potatoes all the time. Now, there's a series of islands all over the place, and there's monkeys living on all the islands. And the monkeys are all eating sweet potatoes coated in sand. But one day, when there was enough monkeys, and we like to think of it as the 100th monkey, when that monkey came, he saw that things changed. And not only the monkeys on his island, but the monkeys on all the islands started washing their sweet potatoes. That's the 100th monkey. That's the way these changes happen. You don't have to convince anybody. You don't have to even write about your own book. And you certainly don't have to get out there and shout it to the, well, you might want to shout it or sing it to the mountains, but you don't have to. Because it's not only a secret, it's a way of being that will permeate all. I think the most beautiful example that I can think of, and I'm back in the Old Testament now, this is in the book of Daniel. You remember that wonderful story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Who knows it? There used to be a song we sang in Sunday school, but I can't remember it. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego lived in the kingdom where King Nebuchadnezzar was in charge. And he wanted everybody to pray to the idol that he created, this beautiful golden statue, and they should all bow down to that. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, no way. We are devoted to the Lord. We are devoted to God. We worship the one God, not your golden statue. So Nebuchadnezzar throws them into the jail, if you would. And then they still were so adamant that this was the way that he threw them into the fiery furnace, right? And then he told his soldiers, make it as hot as you can. You know, burn these suckers up if that's the way it came out. You know, these guys are wrong. So the furnace went up. Some of the soldiers who threw them in there were burned themselves. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in that furnace. And Nebuchadnezzar came and he looked and he said, how can they still be standing? How can they still be there? Because they were still standing there. But then he looked more carefully and he saw, but there's a fourth one in there. What is the fourth one? Who is that? So he told them, come out here. And the three men came out. And there was no fourth one there. You know who the fourth one is? The Spirit, the Christ within them, within us. We are the fourth man. That's what I believe. What is the third coming? It's when we get it. It's the Christ getting it. But right now we're living it as the fourth man, the fourth one. There, metaphysically, now we're into, for those of you who are Unity students, the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Their name, Shadrach, humility. Humility. Approaching this whole idea for the state of humility. Meshach, the never-failing love of God. And Shadrach, light and understanding. Let these be a part of our lives, our continents. how we go forward. In Matthew 5:14-16, we read these words, you, and I wrote in here Jim, and I wrote in here Bob, and I wrote in here Judy. You are to funnel the light of divine love into every person you meet and to everything you do. This light of love must shine so brightly from your heart and from your eyes that every shadow of fear is reborn into love. Open your hearts to love and then help others walk this path with you. I'd see that as the foundation for the course you're teaching. You go in love. You know, the stepson that I defriended, he's back. After I got into this, I thought, I can't cut him out forever. I haven't heard from him, but he's back in my list. If I ever posted something, he'd get it. And so the invitation is, are you going to wait for signs? It's not going to come with signs out there. There's going to be no billboard telling you this is the time. It's going to come and be born in us in a twinkling of an eye. We will see it. We'll know when the masses get this. But in the meantime, we'll do our work. And the invitation is, speak these 4 lines, and I'd like you to speak them with me. The answer is always spiritual. I am part of a peaceful uprising. It only takes a few of us. I am one of the few. So I bless you on your way. I know there's ways that we'll live, ways that we already live, ways that we will devote ourselves to. When I come on the 19th of March, I believe, I'm going to share those with you. Basically, they're living a life of joy, and we'll go deeper into that. Joy and beauty in every moment. And in a nutshell, when joy is lost, sing your own song, one that's never been sung before in your voice. Sing your song. I have to walk to have my song happen, but it comes. It can come when I'm driving. And sometimes I start with a basic, this is the day, because that gets me going. When joy is lost, it's there. The next one is pray constantly. Remember, we are always in prayer. 1 Thessalonians 5 is where we have these instructions. Joy, pray constantly, and in all things give thanks. In all things we give thanks. We live a life of gratitude. Not for things, but remember, in all things. It's not, I give thanks when this materializes or when this happens. No, I give thanks in the midst. So then we will move on to the next step on the 19th. And that'll be, we'll enter the cave, because sometimes there's some inner work to do. And we'll see what we find there together. So God bless you. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your willingness to join me in this. Jim says, get a group. You know, if there's more than one of you in your home, speak these lines together. And then you can take them into the next step and the next step. Go in peace now, my friends. I love you. We bless the world as we are. God bless.
She said, this book dovetails just beautifully with what she just spoke about it only taking a few. We are one of the few, and that the person, what was the second one? Part of a peaceful uprising. That's where it all comes from. And the woman that wrote this